All right, Pat, choose your adventure. Do you want to talk about the biggest day of quarterback news in NFL history yesterday, or do you want to talk about the now once again surging Minnesota Wild hanging 5 goals on one of the biggest defensive clamp teams in the NHL?
I want to talk about the guy who went on Twitter at about 6:40 yesterday and assured the fans that the Wild was going to win 5-2, and then all the angst could die for a while. And I got to tell you, the secret of that accurate picking that accurate score. It's much easier in hockey than it is in basketball or football.
It is. Yeah. The Timberwolves are going to win 132
yeah.
to 112.
Shucks, I was wrong. So anyway, I had the feeling the boys were going to show up and win last night, and so yeah, that's they got a lot of home games this month. I think we panicked a little early, but we'll see.
Yeah, but the fact that you got the score exactly right. I mean, come on. Let's give you
impressive.
the credit that
when
you
it was
deserve.
5-2 after 2, I didn't feel terribly confident because I thought the other team might pull an Emerson and pull the goalie.
They didn't pull the goalie. Gorgiev didn't get pulled ever.
Never?
No, he never. They never pulled him. They just sort of gave up in the third period.
They let us. Abby,
what's the point of that? Why does it matter if you lose by 10 goals at that point? Why would you not pull your goal?
Once you get like 4, but you got to try. You got to,
I have no idea, Phil.
You got to try to cut it to 2 goals, don't you? And then cut it to 1. The other night they were 3 down, the Wild, and got back to 4-3 after not doing a damn thing.
Correct.
For 50 minutes. They were back in the game because they pulled the goalie. So
Dean was astounded. I'm sure Dean's like, Gerard Gallant, pull your damn goal. I'll pull your goaltender for you.
Is that where Gallant is now?
Yes.
I had no idea he was the coach there.
Oh, he's just coaching the Rangers.
How many teams he had now? About 4?
I got fired by what? He got fired by the Panthers in Carolina and was told to catch a cab. Then he went to the Golden Knights, got fired by them. This is his 3rd team.
Okay.
Head coach.
Seems like more. That league's so damn weird, man. They can't go find a new guy to coach. They gotta just recycle the same fellas all the time. Still doing that. So that's amazing. Anyway,
what is it? Hey, wait. We need to settle an argument here a little bit. Judd is apoplectic that they're going to retire Mikko Koivu's number. I sort of see it. I mean, it's been 20 years of Wild history. He leads in all these categories. I don't know if we need to be rewarding good, not great players all the time. But where do you stand on this?
I think that I think it has gotten embarrassing to have people look up to the ceiling, and the only retired number is the fans who received a jersey honoring them before they ever attended a game, basically, before the first puck was dropped. I think they got to figure out some of these. Now, this could cause this could lower the standard for which you retire jerseys, right? So, I mean, like the Twins' first retired jersey was Killebrew, right? So that's a pretty high standard, and
that's my point.
I don't. The Vikings don't do that. They put them up on the they put them in the Ring of Honor, but the football they don't do that. And so I think they needed one, but I kind of agree with Judd. I think you needed a more, you can't introduce a guy and say, here he is, Mikko Koivu, and boy, was he good on faceoffs.
Faceoff percentage winner, the greatest living.
70% of his faceoffs. Retire his jersey. I don't know. Plus, he was such a dead ass anyway. I don't know. Was he anything in the room? Because when you were in the room, he couldn't have been more boring. He gave Finns a bad name for being boring, and they're boring by nature. So he's I don't know. What was he, a leader? Was he I don't see that. But I'm not apoplectic about it. I can see why they're doing it, but because there's nobody else to do it for, right? But who's next? I don't know. Brodin, 10 years from now when he's not playing, I suppose. But
is he on that track? I mean, he's
Yeah, I mean,
Kaprizov. It's so early. But
Brodin's a better player than Koivu ever thought of being at his position. I would say, wouldn't you, Judd? I
Yeah.
would say,
Yeah, he's
at a higher level of
like
defensive
Kaprizov.
greatness. Yeah.
Now, like as far as genuine excitement, Kaprizov at some point in time,
We ain't
hopefully is
retiring a number for a Russian. Okay.
We'll have long forgotten about this disturbance. and
Either that
terrible-
else,
Or-
we'll all be dead.
Or yeah,
So,
I was gonna say, and if we're all dead, we won't have to
I don't
worry
know that
about
it's
it.
Kirill's. I don't know. It's his fault that this is
it's not
happening.
his fault, but what are we going to do in the draft? Does anybody know?
As far as
Would-
taking them,
Like Russian players.
What's this going on?
I don't know.
What is going to happen?
I don't know, but I do know that Panarin, who plays for New York and was in town last night, absolutely hates Putin, and I think is the only Russian player to ever come out and criticize Putin. So
Really?
there's a guy
Well-
that you would like, Patrick.
I mean, the big problem is you can't do it. He'll shoot your family.
Yeah.
This guy's
That was part of the
guy's-
problem for Panarin too.
This
but-
guy's Castro, only on steroids with military might.
and I don't expect Kirill to come out and criticize.
No,
by the way,
but
to be
he
clear.
just shut up and not say anything. You know, Ovi's about the only one that's had to talk about it because he was his buddy and campaigned for him and everything. I love campaigning for Putin. The election's fixed. You don't have to campaign for the guy, right? Okay, because if you vote against him, you get shot. So that's that's like campaigning for Saddam Hussein in the old days. You know,
Pat, have you ever considered leaving your media career to run for governor?
No, not really. Not really, but it'll give me a chance. I'm glad to see I got a chance to vote against Matt Burke, so that's good. Now that if he ends up running with this, if this Scott Jensen ends up running for governor, I will proudly vote against Matt Burke, who I liked as a player because he would talk, but he's a nutcase, so politically, so it'll be fun to vote against him. So.
Yeah. Speaking of hot button issues, let's talk quarterbacks here, Pat. I don't know about yesterday, but that might have been the most exciting day, like the most exciting 45 minutes of quarterback news that we've ever had back to back there. Rodgers and Russell Wilson. What do you?
Poor
what do you think?
A-Rod thought the whole day was going to be devoted to him, didn't he? And
That's right.
an hour later, Russell Wilson's the news because it's a lot more interesting to change teams than it is to stay with the team you're with.
Wasn't that great,
Then
Pat?
A-Rod had to come out and say, "Well, the details are wrong on the contract."
Which, by the way, he had given to McAfee. That's my favorite part.
he gave him the $200 million.
Well, he gave when McAfee broke part of that story. That definitely came from Aaron.
McAfee broke a source is telling me
Yeah.
that Rodgers has decided to go back to the Packers.
But you're 100% right, Pat.
But did he give him the
pissed off.
number? Did he give him the number?
I think he said there was some contractual framework in the works, and it's all semantics. Rappaport literally had like the intricate details of the contract, and Rodgers came out and said, "I haven't signed anything yet. Like everything's got to be on his terms when he announces things."
I happened to stumble across on driving around in Albany, on a satellite radio or maybe even a regular station. I happened to stumble onto McAfee for the first time in my life. That show's pretty well devoted to McAfee, isn't it? I mean, it's they basically he gets his guess, but the rest of it is pretty well devoted to Pat. So
I think Pat McAfee loves himself some Pat McAfee.
yes, he does. I think so. I think he does. So anyway, but he's become a pretty good source for Rodgers, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Now,
and the two biggest YouTube stars in sports right now are Pat McAfee and Patrick Royce, I think.
Oh, yeah, well, because I bet I know more hockey than he does. Does he ever pick the scores?
No.
Hey, supposedly Shailene and Rodgers showed up on a Gulfstream
Yes.
jet down in Palm Beach, huh?
Yes.
So they're back together.
I
thought
it
for
looks
sure she was going to dump him now that he decided to go to go back to the hinterland. She doesn't.
yeah, I
want to
think
go hang
I think the engagement's off, Pat, but I think they might still be together. I
Mhm.
think she's as loony as he might be too.
If the
So
engagement is off, they aren't back together. Maybe temporarily having weekends, but they're once the engagement's off, it never works out.
They
So-
could
It's
just be
weird,
friends by now too. Like they
Huh?
could just be very good friends.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. She's anyway. She's it sounded like originally she got hit sick of listening to his politics, so that's why she dumped him the first time, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Must be nice to get canceled and then also get $153 million guaranteed and a national spotlight for it.
That's what I like about it. I love it when they get big guaranteed contracts, no matter who they are. Even if we don't like Rodgers, I that's why I'm not a Cousins fan, but I love him for the reason that when the Vikings signed him, and they said, "How much of this $84 million do we have to guarantee?" And he and his agent said, $84 million. I like the fact that somebody got guaranteed money out of them, and Rodgers is getting plenty. The cap, though, is we don't have cap problems now, do we? Didn't it just go up $20-some million?
Yes, and they still have cap problems.
Not serious though. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
no,
easy.
I
They're
mean-
16 million over right now.
Yeah,
How
they're-
much?
16.
They're 16 million over, right? Like they have to shave
Yeah.
25 million off just to sign draft picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that'll be easy.
But the cap, keep in mind, the cap went
Goodbye.
way down. So it's not
Goodbye.
like it's coming up
That-
twofold.
Well, but is that with Barr already off the books?
That include Barr is gone. I mean, I think they've got some
Dead-
void money in there,
But
dead
he
money
is,
in there.
yes, exactly right. He's
Patrick
still-
Peterson is
25
free
million
agent.
off, and Barr's already gone. Barr's already gone.
Correct.
But he's-
Well, Barr the player is a free agent, but Barr's contract, the ghost of his contract, is still
Exists.
eating up cap
Still in
space.
there. Okay. All right.
Yes. So
Well-
right now the Vikings have the third worst cap situation according to Spotrac.com.
They aren't
Uh,
giving Hunter that money. They aren't giving him 18 million.
Yeah, they got to rework that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So what do you think now? I mean, so Rodgers and Russell Wilson were kind of the two big, everyone was waiting for those guys to figure out what they were doing. In terms of quarterback desperate teams, you still have the Steelers, the Colts have publicly said they're moving on from Carson Wentz. The Panthers don't have a quarterback. The Buccaneers.
let me say the one thing you said yesterday, I was listening to you talk about the quarterback situation. You guys must have done an emergency new part of the show yesterday, right? Once
We
all
did,
this
yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
happened, I could tell. But Cousins, Tampa is the one place that I can see him being a fit because they're old, right? They build up this team now. Gronk's leaving and Brady's leaving, but they didn't build up this team for the future. They need somebody. They need a quarterback who can play now, and maybe Arians thinks he's smart enough to get the most out of just an accurate passer with terrible legs that they can't move away from anybody, and that's the rest of them. I mean, why would Carolina care? They stink. Why would they go get him? They stink.
You're right. I think, and we're going to talk about this more on Maggie and Judd today because there's a report that they have sort of laughed at the notion of Kirk Cousins, but the logic there would be they're about to fire their coach if they don't take a big step forward this year. That the division is totally up for grabs now because Brady's gone and Sean Payton, Drew Brees are gone, and Calvin Ridley is suspended for the year in
Yes.
Atlanta. So you could win 8 or 9 games, which Kirk Cousins is brilliant at doing, by the way, and probably win that division.
I see Tampa as a viable place for him to go, and I don't think they probably have the same value on draft choices. I don't think maybe you will get a one out of him now. I wouldn't ever do it, but if you're drafting further down the board, Tampa's got to be in the 20s, right? Tampa's got to be drafted.
Yeah, they're probably in the 20. Yeah.
Yeah, 20s.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd give up, I suppose, that to get him because I don't have a quarterback. So, you know who else needs a quarterback? Seattle, because Drew Lock ain't the answer. I'll tell you that. But I think they're redoing it here. So, I heard one of the national geniuses, say that don't expect the Seahawks to do much in free agency or stuff. They're doing it all over again with draft choices and young guys, which wouldn't speak well for Pete's future. I
You
would.
know what? So is Peach just gonna? He's what, 70ish?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
70. It's
Is
weird.
Peach just gonna chill there while they rebuild?
Yeah, I don't get it.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's super weird.
He might only have one more year left. They might have given him one more year, figuring that, what the heck. But see how it worked out, because they probably weren't 100% sure they're going to get rid of Russell. But yeah, they need a quarterback. But I think the only place that's going to come and give you a draft choice is somebody who has big hopes for winning. It's not somebody you're going to. I guess Indianapolis. Maybe
That's a sneaky one.
It's
they have a good
desperation.
team. They have a
They're
good
also
team.
think about their logic. I mean, the lasting image they have of Carson Wentz isn't the big plays that he makes. It's the game altering, falling on your ass in the end zone, throw a ball up interceptions.
The left-handed pass.
And Kirk doesn't. Kirk will make a couple boneheaded throws, but Kirk's ethos as a quarterback is don't throw a bad interception to ruin the game. Like that's.
Yes.
And that's what prevents him from stepping up in big moments, too. So if they're looking to just cut down on dumb mistakes, Kirk Cousins would be a good fit for them.
Are they Brownies? What happened to the Browns? What are they saying they're gonna play Baker on the last year of his contract?
They've tried to, but they've been pretty quiet.
I think he's Cleveland or Miami. I mean Cleveland or Tampa. Those are the two.
For Kirk makes sense. The
And
Browns.
the other thing that shakes this whole thing up is whether Deshaun's trial starts
Yes.
Friday, yeah.
Friday, and if the grand jury, right? The grand jury starts Friday.
Mhm.
And if he doesn't get indicted, and then he'll settle the lawsuits, and then all of a sudden you got a younger Russell Wilson on the market, and so teams might be waiting for that too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I mean, he's probably not a trustworthy fellow, but he's a hell of a talent at quarterback. I love him. I think he's great. So that's the other thing that I guess I don't know how long it takes a grand jury to decide whether they're going to indict somebody or not. But the NFL will suspend him then for 6 games or something.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like we don't.
Even if he doesn't, but
Yeah.
he could change the whole thing up. But Kirk's a guy. Kirk's a guy. That's what he is. He's a 14th best quarterback in the NFL. All of a sudden, because he wouldn't take a vaccine, he became a hot product, to a certain segment of the population. But he's not as good as Stafford. Stafford makes a lot of mistakes, but Stafford's got more talent than he does, and Stafford has it. You're never going to go to a Super Bowl with Kirk. That ain't happening.
Somebody, maybe we can get Pat to join our dinner party here. Somebody asked us if we, if Kirk does go on to win a Super Bowl, are you guys going to admit that you were wrong and eat crow? And so we did ask Judd, would you eat an actual crow, like a literal crow, live on Purple Daily? Pat, will you eat a crow will you split a crow with Judd on Purple Daily?
You can't kill it.
You gotta bite the head off like Ozzy Osbourne.
No,
you
we
have
can't
to get
do
a gourmet cook to make it, and then we and cut it
I
up
do some
in small
crow.
bits. Not off the bone, man. That's for sure. Not off the bone. But
Throw it in the air fryer. That's what we'll do.
I don't know. It is a quandary to say the least, and trying to extend his contract is the worst mistake you can make.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
No.
These guys are smart.
Well,
I think they'll trade. I think you're right. They will trade him, get out from under, and I don't know. Then they have to go get somebody. There's nobody in this draft to play. So
Teddy Bridgewater can come back as a.
How about
guess
the
a bridge
guy?
guy.
How about the guy we were all excited about that we drafted? What's his name? I can't remember.
Kellen Mond.
Kellen Mond.
Well,
you got
he
lost
was
in the
he
shuffle, Pat.
Maybe Zim's the only one who thinks he stinks. Okay, maybe
That's what I keep saying.
Yeah,
You gotta see what you got, baby.
Okay, what do you believe? Did the entire all of they had 4 third-round picks in last year's draft, and basically none of them saw the field. Did Rick Spielman whiff on all of those guys, or did Mike Zimmer just decide I'm not going to make eye contact with anything that Rick Spielman touched?
Yeah, I don't know, but You know, our fans are prepared to get excited about Kellen if he ever completed a pass against somebody. It would be very exciting. But boy, we forgot about him in this discussion too.
Yeah.
A third rounder is not by You know who they could get? Jordan Love. You want to get Jordan Love? Go get Jordan Love.
Yeah, I'm
Give
good.
him a fourth rounder.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm good on that
I'm
one.
out on
Why
that.
would you?
I think if they are willing to trade him within the division, I think it means that he's garbage, right? That's another thing too about Cousins. Well, you'd prefer to trade him to the AFC so you can get him out of the conference. Who cares?
No, you want him in your conference. You
I want
kidding?
to play him twice a year.
Yeah.
I want to play him twice a
He
year.
is, Pat, Kirk is going to end his career. In fact, write this down as a Detroit Lion. He is he is the great late in his career. He goes home to Michigan, right? He is the quintessential.
Would you trade him for Jared Goff? And
He's better. He's better than Jared Goff.
Third rounder.
No, but I would for Goff and a first round pick if I could get the
I'm
first round.
not giving you a first rounder. I'm not even giving you a first rounder if you don't. Yeah, but you'd have to take Goff off my hands. So.
What's the record for the number of times a player has had a first round pick attached to them to move?
Yeah, that's,
Goff,
Sean
Andrew
McVay
Wiggins.
willed that guy to a Super Bowl.
I don't know, but it
it's
is amazing. The baseball was in its desperate last gasp
No, yeah.
to come up with a settlement, and nobody noticed because A-Rod re-signed and Russ Wilson got traded. And the league year hasn't even started yet. Wait till we get to the league year. Oh, my God, the league year.
3 p.m. March 16th. Mark your calendars.
The league year.
Light a candle.
The most pompous collection of asses that ever lived. Hey, what's the word on the St. Croix Sportsbook? Is it open?
I thought they might have delayed it. Let's do.
They did delay it from the Super Bowl. They're hoping to be open for March Madness. I wonder if.
Ooh, that'd be fun to go.
Let's see here. I had
Watch some games.
someone hit me up yesterday. They placed a bet at the Diamond Joe Sportsbook down.
Royce, we should go watch some games for March Madness.
I was going to run over there next week if it's open for March Madness. So.
They got a nice little website. It says coming soon. Bet on your favorite team.
Still coming soon.
All right.
Not
Coming
that
soon.
soon. They were supposed to be open 2 months ago.
Listen, while you're there, and I don't know, it's been about 10 years since I've partaken here, but they had a free hot dog buffet in the poker room upstairs at that casino.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
Good dogs, not big fat thick ones.
No,
right?
they're on the roller. They're charred on the roller deal.
Ooh, yeah,
I like the Nathans, not the big fat Chicago dogs. I like.
Yes, sir.
You know what, Pat? Think if it was open and you had driven there last night, walked up to the window at 6:40 and said,
Hey, what are the odds?
5-2.
If I give you the final score,
"Yeah,
what are the odds? You know, can you bet final scores? That's
I don't know, but we could have found out, and you could have been a rich man if you could."
That's what we need. Sports score roulette. It's just
okay.
all right, Pat.
See ya.
I'll
All
see you
right,
later this
gents.
week.
Yeah, it's we'll see if there's any more fallout today.
Yep. All right. That's
Yeah.
Rapping with Royce. And by the way, that Rapping with Royce presented by Federated Mutual Insurance Company. We'll get some business out of the way here real quick, Dex. Federated has been around for over 100 years, all about lifting your business to another level through risk management tools and resources. They've got just all sorts of things you can check out on federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. All right, Rapping with Royce. See you guys.